Welcome, Lauren.
Thank you, Tracy. So I'm Lauren McNeil, and I'm actually co-facilitating this meeting along with Emily Shannon. We are both from Resolution Services, and among the services that we offer, we help with meeting facilitation. So we have been asked to come here and help you have this meeting today. The structure generally will be, we'll ask each of you to introduce yourselves. If you know how to put both your first and last name on your screen, that's helpful for us. And unless you are prohibited from having your camera on, it's also, we request that you have your camera on as well during this meeting. So I see there are a few of you down at the bottom of my screen here, Katie and Joe and Zach, without your videos on. So, and another person, Lori. So if you could please turn your videos on, I'd appreciate that. If you have a compelling reason that you can't, just throw that in the chat to me. And Tracy, did you make Emily and me co-hosts?
Tracy isn't joining us for the meeting, you guys.
Oh,
I got it. Tracy isn't joining us. I'm just going to get a glass of water. Okay.
Okay, so who is?
Yeah.
So who is currently?
So Amy Kelsey will make Lauren and Emily co-hosts. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so we will ask each of you to introduce yourselves, and we'd ask you to speak to your veteran status and your branch as well when you introduce yourselves along with your name. And then we will there are 3 of you who have said that you would like to share your personal experiences of impact directly with Commissioner Shull, who you invited to have be here, and he has shown up. Welcome, Commissioner. And then that you would like to pose some questions to him. You all have seen the questions, and so the questions will be posed one at a time. Commissioner Shull will have an opportunity to respond to them, and then there will not be further discussion at this point in this meeting. You only have an hour today, but further discussion about wherever you go from here will be happening after this meeting. So that's my understanding of the structure for today. So one at a time, we will call you as you appear on our screen, just to introduce yourself. And if you are staff, please say that as well. And Amy, I have you in the top corner, Amy Kelsey.
Good morning, good afternoon, I'm Amy Kelsey. I am an administrative specialist in the Social Services Division here at Clackamas County.
Thank you, Amy. And Joe K.
Hi, I'm Joe Kwaczynski. I'm a veteran of the U.S. Army many moons ago, and I'm fairly new to this wonderful group, so that's who I am. And I live in Happy Valley.
Ah, yes. Thank you, Joe. And Scott Southard.
Hi, I'm Scott Southard. That's not me on the picture, but anyway, I'm an Air Force Vietnam veteran, and I'm the Milwaukee American Legion Post Service Officer and an American Legion chaplain.
Thank you, Scott. And Tracy.
I'm Tracy Bogard, and I am a military family member. I'm also a member of the VFW Auxiliary.
Thank you, Tracy. And Erica?
Good afternoon, Erica Silver. I work for Clackamas County Social Services. I'm the manager for the County Veterans Service Office and the Supportive Housing Team.
Thank you, Erica. And Caroline?
Hi, sorry about that. Caroline, I'm policy advisor, and I Commissioner Shull.
Thank you. And Ken, or I don't know if your full first name is Ken B?
It's Ken Bichek.
Thank you.
I am Ken Bichek. I work for Clackamas County as staff. I do the Veterans Employment Program for Communities Connections
Great. Thank you, Ken. And Paul.
Which Paul? Me?
Oh,
Okay.
yes, Edgar.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Now, Paul Edgar, I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and I'm on the board of Fort Kennedy, a veteran outreach center in Clackamas County.
Thank you, Paul. And Emily?
Hi there, I'm Emily Shannon. I'm an attorney and mediator with Resolution Services and work with Lauren, primarily doing family law mediation and some facilitation. I'm really glad to join you and be here today. Thank you.
Thanks, Emily. And Casey?
Oh, you're muted.
You're still muted, Casey.
Of that program yet. Keep waiting for that program. Hi, I'm Casey Curry. I am a disabled retired veteran of the Oregon Army National Guard and United States Army, and I reside out in Beaver Creek, Clackamas County.
Thank you, Casey. And Brenda?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brenda Durbin. I'm the Director of Clackamas County Social Services.
Brenda and Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris Waller, Jennings Lodge Public Observer.
Thank you, Chris. And Masood?
Yes, my name is Masood Adam Khosrowbadi. I am the Secretary of the Veteran Advisory Council, and I live here in Milwaukee. I'm also a member of the Milwaukee Post, the American Legion Post 180.
Thank you, Masood. And RB?
Hi, I'm RB Green. I am a veteran of the U.S. Army, and I'm the Veteran Services Coordinator at Clackamas Community College.
Thank you. And Commissioner Shull?
Yes, good afternoon, and thank you all for your service. I was commissioned in the Marine Corps in 1977, and as life goes different ways, not always the way we planned it, I ended up retiring on the Army list in 2010. And I'm a long-time resident of Clackamas County, and very happy to be here to meet you all today.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Matt?
Good afternoon. I'm Matthew Furlow, United States Marine Corps veteran. I live out in Molalla, Oregon, and I work for Clackamas County Social Services in homeless veteran outreach. And right now I am assigned to COVID rental relief program.
Great. Thank you so much. And Commissioner Schrader?
Hi, everyone. I'm Clackamas County Commissioner Martha Schrader. It's nice to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. And Aaron?
Hello, everyone. I'm Aaron Henry, retired United States Marine, and I am the Veterans Outreach, Landlord Outreach person for Clackamas County, as well as Rapid Rehousing Case Manager.
Thank you, Aaron. And Roland?
Good afternoon. I'm Roland Herrera. I'm actually a former resident of Clackamas County, and I want to congratulate or thank everybody for your service. I am actually city councilor in Kaiser. I'm also on the League of Oregon City State Board and many other hats I wear. But one of the things I do is follow the BIPOC elected community, and I'm glad to be here. I'm also a good friend and part of the Color Caucus, which we started with League of Oregon Cities with not Commissioner, Councilor David Imami, who is a good friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Roland. And Lori?
My name is Lori Kimmel, and I'm an Air Force veteran. Retired.
Thank you, Lori. And Joe? Joe, that's you? Yeah.
This one? Oh, okay.
Yes. I think you're the only one on my screen. No? Yes, Joe Meyer. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Joe K. Meyer. I'm just a member of the public coming to observe the meeting.
Thank you. And Tito?
Hello, Tito Mendoza. I'm the Veterans Rental Assistance Program Housing Case Manager, United States Marine Corps, and I'm a resident of Gladstone, Oregon, Clackamas County.
Thank you, Tito. And Katie?
Hi, my name is Katie Wilson. I am the Community Engagement Coordinator for Clackamas County, and I work in Public and Government Affairs.
Thank you, Katie. Are you someplace where you can't put your camera on?
I'm having a technical problem with my camera. I'm trying to fix it, but I am here.
Great.
Sorry
Thank you
about
so
that,
much.
people.
That's all right. And Oksana. Oksana? Do others of you know who Oksana is? Yes? Is anybody able to reach out to that person? I'm worried she's not connected, or he, or they. Chris, I saw you shake your head yes. Do you have a
Oh, I
way
just
to?
know that she is a friend of Mark Shull's.
Okay. Commissioner Shull, do you have a way to reach Oksana?
I could probably give her a call, but I'm sure she can hear you. She's just very shy.
Okay, it would be nice for her to also introduce herself in order to create safety in the room rather than have somebody.
Would you like me to give her, would you like me to take a few minutes and give her a call?
Yes, I think that would be a great idea. We do this just because in order for those of you who are going to share to do so with some safety, it's important for you to know who's in the room and that those folks are ideally, as I said earlier, on camera and introducing themselves. So we'll do that. So then let me say that I understand that Casey, you are one of the people who wishes to speak. And Scott, where is Scott? Scott, there you are. And Adam. Adam. Great, thank you. Okay, so we'll just call you in turn when we get there. Okay.
Hello,
Yes.
it is Oksana Bell. Hello.
Great, thank you. And will you say your affiliation?
Yes, I'm living in Happy Valley and I'm support Mark Shu and I would like to participate in this conversation.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I missed the first part of what you said.
I said I live in Happy Valley, Clackamas.
Great. Okay, thank you,
So,
Oksana.
yeah, and I would like to participate. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate your coming, your speaking out.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So the next thing that we will do is have the three of you who have asked to share your own experiences to do so. And so when you are doing that, we ask you to speak from your own experience and as openly as you are able. And we ask all the others and you in particular, Commissioner Shull, to allow that person to simply share rather than interjecting or trying to respond to anything that that person is saying. And I'm seeing your nod as affirmation of that.
Very good.
Great. Okay, great. So so then Adam, it is to you.
Hello, thank you all for being here. I didn't mention this before, but I did serve in the United States Marine Corps. I was 0311 Infantry. I served in Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2004. I was also in the Battle of Fallujah. I am a Muslim. I'm Iranian. I am born of parents who are immigrants. I am married to a woman in the Latinx community whose parents are immigrants. And when I signed up and I joined in the Marine Corps, it had nothing to do with a specific group or a specific identification. It had to do with what happened on September 11th, and it had to do with myself as a Muslim standing up and fighting for America to show that Islam is not our enemy, because I am one. That is what I fought for. There is a multitude of cultures in the military. You even have people that are part of the LGBTQIA plus community as well in the military. And my experiences in the military, color color didn't determine anything. Your belief system, your religion didn't determine anything. Because in this country, you have the right to believe in the religion you want. You have the right to love who you want. You have these rights here. These are rights that majority of people on this screen right now have fought for, have served for, have lost somebody for. And that's what we're here today. Because us as veterans, in our experience, the term of being a melting pot isn't something that we should take lightly. That's what we are. That's what we've always been. That's what our Constitution allows us to be. And I'm not here politically. It doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat. It's not right versus left. It's right versus wrong. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. And I'm more concerned, even as a Muslim, I'm more concerned of the other groups that were mentioned. I'm more concerned about the groups that may not have as great of a voice as others, or may not have the same opportunity to engage in dialogue as others. And that's what really this is about for me. And I understand free speech. Believe me, I fought for it like most of us did. But free speech does have consequences. Free speech does have consequences. I know that because somebody had approached me and told me that they were glad my friends had died in the war. And there's a consequence. As an elected official, you are held to a higher standard. And to think that your words as an elected official don't have consequences or even more consequences as a private citizen is wrong. It's power to lead by example, which is what apparently we've missed in this country. It's nothing to do with political party. It's not about, for me, it's not about political assassination. It's not about muzzling people. It's not about that. It's right versus wrong. It's right versus wrong. And if these sentiments are carried over into a 4-year term, how can people in our county feel comfortable? How can veterans who identify as these groups feel comfortable? And I'm here to understand and figure out what's next in this process. I've never hated a culture or a religion or somebody's identity. We all fought under the same flag, the same colors. Commissioner Shull has worn the same uniform as most of us on here. Shared the oath and swore to it. Now I feel like that oath may be taken lightly. This isn't to say anything about service. I thank you for your service. Absolutely. Anyone who has served. It's hard to do that. It's hard to raise your hand and take that oath. But when you do, you better live by it. You better live by it. Especially as a Marine. Especially as a Marine. And I'm just here to figure out what, like I said, what's the next step forward? There's been calls to resign. There's a recall effort in 4 months. So I'm just trying to figure out, what do we do forward? If all that fails, how do we move forward as a community? That's really what I'm here for. It's, yeah, obviously I was offended, of course, but it's not about me. It's about everyone else in this county that calls this county home that has to hear those and read those statements. What about them? That's what I'm here for. My experience has been great in the military. I loved it. I would rather go back before another young individual would, because I know what to expect. I know what to see. But our same honor, courage, and commitment, that's got to apply here, back home. Most importantly, So yes, I'm upset and I'm offended. But I want to know what's next. I want to know what's next. I want to know where the other groups come in to be able to speak their mind as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam, very much. I think we're ready to shift to our second speaker, who I have is Scott Southard.
Okay. So, Commissioner Shull, I also thank you for your service. I don't know why my picture's not coming up. Let me try my video here.
I can see you fine, Mr. Southern.
Okay.
Yeah, we
okay.
see you. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, in the past. As I said, I'm an Air Force Vietnam veteran. I was actually a drug alcohol counselor who worked with addicts and alcoholics coming out of Vietnam. And it was a joint service process, a station in Thailand. And those identified as violators were sent to us for a 30-day evaluation processing to see if they were retainable. And because we were joint services, I worked with Army, Air Force, Navy, all members of all branch services. And that's when I first began to build the view that, when it comes to military service, regardless of what branch of service you're in, we all take that same exact oath. And now, as a veteran and involved with American Legion, on the other side of your DD 214, we are judged strictly based on what we did about our oath. Did we serve our country as we swore that we would? And so that brings me to part of what brings my willingness to speak to this too is my first commanding officer was Major Fidel. Major Fidel was a first generation American. His parents were immigrants from the Middle East. And so I was raised in rural Oregon. So that's when I first met my first Middle Easterner, ethnicity, I guess, for want of a better word, and my first Muslim face-to-face. He was my commander for 18, for a year and a half, and never did anything to cause me to want to question his morality, his ethics, his honor in doing everything, truthful and valid. I was very proud to serve under him. So my big concern is that Clackamas County has established itself as a government entity that has been a model and example of developing and managing and providing all manner of support to veterans and their family. They have Clackamas County has national recognition as an exemplary example of what government entities can do to be there for veterans and their family. Two examples of what have put them on the national map about that is they were one of the first counties in America to create a veteran service office with veteran service staffed by veteran service officers who are there and are paid by the county to be there to assist veterans in all matters. Secondly, we're one of the early ones to create a Veterans Advisory Council that we're here today, because they thought not only was it important to provide services to veteran and their family and the great variety they do, but also that how they could best do that would be by asking veterans, of which we recognize on this call you know, we are involved with many dozens of organizations that also provide support to veterans and their family. And so, having said that, my concern is that based on the comments made, how can we be confident that as a county commissioner, whose party responsibility is to help oversee all the veteran support that's being provided, that the county provides, and to ensure that it is being given fairly, equally to all veterans and their families in need, based strictly on their service to our country, not based on their race, not based on ethnicity, not based on gender preferences, not based on faith, but strictly because they took an oath to serve our country, and they did so honorably. And on this side of the DD 214, many of them, their need for help and support comes from their service and the follow-up to that. So to have the confidence that will provide the kind of leadership that is unbiased to ensure that Clackamas County continues to provide such a excellent, high quality of support and assistance to veterans and their family. That's all.
Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you. And our final share today is Casey.
Thank you, Lauren. To Commissioner Mark Shull, thank you for your service. The Clackamas County Veterans Advisory Board members and guests, thank you for being here. I speak today as a retired female of the Oregon Army National Guard in the United States Army. I served in Operation Enduring Freedom in Kabul, Afghanistan, 06, 07. I'm also a member of this board. I'm also a cisgender gay female. Because of who I am and what I am, I personally and professionally am offended by the remarks that you have made. I do not know a military background, but I do know mine. And I fought for the right for humans to reside here and all humans of the world. We fight when we're told. We don't ask for who and then choose to not. As an elected official, you are elected to care for all individuals of this county and not just a select few. Your words have consequences. These consequences are the people of this county no longer have the trust that you will fight for their rights and their needs. When you feel the way you do and speak the words that you do. Veterans come from all cultures: Muslim, Latinx, Christian, Buddhist, Jews, Americans, LGBTQA+, Asians, from all backgrounds. Do you have all veterans of Clackamas County's best interests? And do we not feel, our best interests? Because we do not feel that you do. We hear you basically playing word games, saying one thing when this group is people around and the opposite when another group is around. This country was built by immigrants, and they have lived here for a long time, and I hope they always will. I, sir, do not trust that as a veteran citizen of Clackamas County, you have my best interests in mind. I, sir, do not believe that you will take the advice that this board gives you concerning the veterans of this county and their best interests, especially if it is for a non-white or religion other than Christianity. And we really listen, and will you really listen to what we advise you on? Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. So I want to just appreciate the three of you who have spoken, Adam and Scott and Casey, sharing from what's on your heart and mind, and the rest of you and you, Commissioner Shull, for listening attentively to what folks wanted to share with you. So I want to also just call our attention to the fact that we have another admittee here, that's Colonel Rick, and at the top of the hour we had folks introduce themselves with your veteran status and your branch, and so would you kindly introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I'm Colonel Rick Copel, retired United States Army, 31 years service. I have been a member of Clackamas County or resident of Clackamas County for years outside of my military service when I was on active duty and deployed. So yeah, just wanted to hear what was going on and make a few comments when it was my opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. And actually, I appreciate that. The program for the rest is the 3 questions to be posed to Commissioner Shull and to give him an opportunity to respond to that. So that's all that will happen in this meeting. And I'm sure there will be ample opportunity for you to share comments at a later point. So I'm going to put each of the questions in the prompt so the rest of you can be refreshed as well. And Emily will read the first one out. And Commissioner, just again, we wish you to just take one at a time, answer what you want folks to know, and then we'll proceed to the next one.
Yes.
Okay, I believe the first question posed is, Commissioner Shull, how do you feel you can represent all residents of Clackamas County?
Okay, thank you, Emily, for that question. Let me start by saying, I'll address some of the allegations that have been brought up. Let me take the first one about Islam. I have worked with many Muslims over the last 3 decades, and most of those interactions were peaceful and respectful. The only ones that didn't go too well were during my year in Iraq. I've always spoken out against the potential for conflict with Islamic doctrine in Western society. I have not had problems with Muslims as people. On 11 January, when the email came out from Chris Waller, I realized that some of my comments could have been very upsetting to members of the Muslim community, and I took action to meet with them. I did that on the 14th of January, and then agreed to where I heard about examples of problems with being accepted in America, and I understand that was a problem, and I went back on the 18th and I gave them my message to apologize to them. But I still stand by my belief that there are agents of conflict who are marching under the doctrine of Islam, and those are the people who I have fought, and those are the people who I've spoken out about, not about peaceful Muslims who want to become part of the American experience. To those people, I think they're wonderful people. Now, on the other 3 things I'd like to mention is—
Just a minute, Commissioner, are you saying you were going to respond to the second question?
This is on the same question.
Same question. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Is that out of this, somehow I've been accused as being a racist. Well, that's interesting because never in my life have I ever had a problem with members of other races. In fact, I would challenge anybody on the board here today, the council, to find somebody in Oregon or in my military background who was a different race than I am, who had a problem with Mark Shull. I guarantee there is none. I've had friends of every race, and it's never been a problem. This is something that just came to my attention since 11 January. The next thing is the issue of Mark Shull being a homophobic. Now, I've got plenty of friends who are from the LGBT community, never a problem. I have spoken out about gender reassignment surgery, and especially when it comes to children. I don't apologize for those comments. But again, you won't find a member of the LGBT community who's interacted with Mark Shull who's going to say Mark was disrespectful to me. And finally, I've been called a xenophobe, okay, which means somebody who doesn't like new immigrants. Again, I challenge the council to find anybody who is an immigrant to America who has had a bad interaction with Mark Shull, unless they happen to be an illegal alien, which means that they're a lawbreaker, and I do not condone breaking federal law. So again, when it comes to being a racist, a homophobe, or a xenophobe, I challenge you, find somebody who can say they interacted with me and felt that I was one of those things. So I hope that answers the question. If you find somebody who has some sort of direct experience or some sort of comment, be happy to talk to them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. And the second question is, what is the path forward?
Thank you, Lauren, for that question. Okay. The path forward, in my opinion, is this. I, through my actions, will show the people of the county that Mark Shull is in fact not the things he has been charged with since 11 January. And if you look at my conduct, my performance, I think you will agree that Mark Shull is a commissioner who's going to be good for everybody in this county, regardless of their race, their gender, or their immigration. Okay. Again, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just curious if you were ready for the third question or if you had more to add.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay. The third question asks how we can continue this dialogue, a dialogue like this.
Well, I'm open to talking to anybody in the county. My door is open, if you will, all the time. I would like for those who accuse me of being these things we've just mentioned to give me an example. Somebody who has had interaction with me and can say I'm a racist or against the LGBT community or against immigrants. But until that happens, I will continue to work to represent everybody in this county, regardless of their background, regardless where they came from, and do it to the best of my ability.
Okay, and that feels complete to you, Commissioner, in terms of your answer for the third question as
Yeah.
well? Okay. Okay, so then that concludes the anticipated program for today. And I want to offer you all some thanks for being here and for sharing and for listening. And reminding you that this session was recorded. So, and I think, I'm not sure, Colonel Rick, that if you heard that at the outset, but the session was in fact recorded. Brenda, I see you've taken mute off. Are there some words you'd like to say?
I'd just like to say that our agenda does include 10 minutes of public comment. So we do need to honor the agenda that was published. The agenda also includes 10 minutes of directors' comments from me. The comments that I would like to say is I just appreciate everyone's participation today. And in terms of the next steps for the Veterans Advisory Council. Just a little bit of background. When this was originally proposed last month, the idea was to send a letter to Commissioner Shull. Conversations at the executive committee brought us to this decision where we wanted to give several members of the committee an opportunity to share directly to the commissioner about how his words have impacted them and hear from Commissioner Shull himself. We have our Veterans Advisory Executive Committee meeting next week. At that meeting, we will take the information that was shared here today, talk about next steps, and then we will continue this conversation at our March VAC meeting.
Thank you, Brenda. And so the public comment is those folks who are members of the public and not members of the council. Is that correct?
We can open that up to everything this, we can, yeah, so members of the public and Veterans Advisory Council members can speak. We may want to give committee members, maybe we've got about 15 minutes. So maybe the first 7 minutes for council members, and then we will have 7 minutes of public comment before we adjourn today.
Okay, that's great. So 7 minutes of council members offering, and if you'll just raise your, we're all on one Zoom page, so you can actually just raise your hand on your screen if you'd like to have an opportunity. Adam. Okay, Adam and then Aaron.
Yes, just to comment on some of the answers. I actually have reached out to Commissioner Shull via email. I've reached out to you and all the other commissioners on the board probably a day or two after this came out. I have not heard from you, and I've been asking for dialogue to progress. I have heard from Commissioner Fisher, and I actually had a virtual meeting with Commissioner Shull. I'm still open to hear from you, and I know that a lot of people that have emailed Commissioner Shull have gotten an automated response. I mean, I haven't got one of them yet, but hopefully Mr. is still open to dialogue. And also, just for the record, I just want to clarify, these aren't charges. These are actually comments that you, sir, made. These are allegations.
Adam, I don't know if it's just me, but your audio was a little patchy there. And maybe proximity to the mic might help.
I apologize. Is that
no,
better?
That's all right. Yes, much better.
Okay.
I missed particularly the commissioner with whom you said you did meet.
Yes, I did meet. I got an email from Commissioner Fisher in response to the email I sent. I also met with Commissioner Martha Schrader this afternoon prior to this meeting. So I appreciate that. I'm still looking forward to speaking with Commissioner Shull as well as the other commissioners that have not responded. As well as that, I just like to say for the record that these are not charges or allegations. These are actual comments that you made.
Thank you. And
Lauren, may I make a comment?
Actually, I had, so we particularly did not want this to be dialogical at this point. It's just comments. So, and there will be later opportunity should you all decide to do that. And we certainly would be happy to facilitate that. This is just unidirectional comment at this point. And I have Aaron and then Lori.
I would just like to say that how your comments affect me. And they affect me by being a person of color. I live in Marion County. However, I drive to Clackamas every day. And I don't feel safe coming up to Clackamas County when we have leaders such as yourself and Tootie Smith making comments such as you guys did. It's very uncomfortable. And you said you would move forward to show us how you plan to help everyone in the county. How is that supposed, what does that look like? Because it sounds like you spoke from your heart. It sounds like you brought this out. You're apologizing because you got caught. So how are we supposed to know what you're going to do to change this?
Okay, thank you, Aaron. And Lori.
My name is Lori Kimmel. I'm an Air Force veteran, and I represent an incarcerated female veteran that has PTSD. But I joined the council to try to make the veterans services better because I had brought in 2 people and they were turned away. And so I thought I'll join them and make this better. But right now, it seems like we're not even going by our bylaws. In our bylaws, it says the council shall serve as advisory body to the Clackamas County Board of Commissioners and the Department of Health and Housing and Human Services. And we're not even going by our bylaws. We're supposed to be an advisory group. We don't tell the commission what to do. And also in Article 4, it talks about unless otherwise covered by the bylaws, all council and subcommittees shall be conducted in accordance to Robert's Rules of Order. We have lost order. We have lost our focus. Our focus should be on how to help the veterans of Clackamas County. Now my descendants were that of Cherokee Indian. So, and we just go on. We don't ask for a pound of flesh. It seems like in this room, a lot of people want a pound of flesh. I'm here to help the veterans so they have a better experience and get the help that they need at the Veterans Service Office. We've lost our focus. We're getting political. We're supposed to be apolitical.
Is that complete, Lori?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And thank
All
you,
right.
everybody, for listening.
Yes, and now we are turning to the point where public comment is welcomed.
I don't see a way to raise hands for.
Okay, you can just indicate like that. Yes, that's fine.
Hi, I'm Chris Waller, and I'd like to just make a couple of brief comments. First of all, thank you so much, Lauren, for this forum and for allowing the opportunity for these voices to be heard. What I do want to point out very briefly, though, is Mr. Shull seems to be offering us excuse after excuse for his behavior, none of which addresses the fact that many of the comments that he made were not addressed to agents of conflict or illegal immigrants. For example, BLM is not about Black Lives Mattering nor any other life mattering. BLM is a pawn for the rise of neo-Marxism. Or to say about a visit to the Mall of America. I visited the Mall of America with my mom last year. It was like walking into the Mall of Islam. I think we were the only 2 non-Muslims there that day. Never got one smile that day from any Muslims. It was a horrifying experience. My mom was 90 years old and had never been there either. She was spooked out. Not a friendly face in the crowd of Akbars. I fail to see how saying that you were motivated by agents of conflict could possibly excuse that type of speech. And it is that type of speech that you do not seem to be taking responsibility for, and you do not seem to realize the harm that you cause to people. You insist that we bring up things that you've said in person. Well, of course, we don't all know your friends, but we have this that you said online, and words matter, whether they are printed or in person. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Who else would like to offer a comment? Is that you raising your hand, Paul? Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I have a LGBTQ grandson. I'm sensitive. I came up, I served from 1958, 59, and 60. So in the middle of the period. I just don't want to see something turn political, and the only I feel in my heart that 90% of why this is being brought forward at this time is just political. And at Fort Kennedy, and I'm on the board there, and when we bring somebody in, they could be dishonorably discharged. If they've got PTSD, if they're screwed up, we bring them in because that's our job. We're trying to save lives. All I turn around and say is I find a lot of what's being said and done is being said and done for political purposes. And I do not think that the VAC should be involved in anything in politics. That's not our charge. We have a dedicated, decorated veteran, an officer who served with the credentials of being an officer. And I find it difficult for me to accept that some of these words, yes, ill-spoken or ill-written, not spoken, should be used or said because that's not who I am and what I believe. Anything that's associated with it. But I don't believe politics should be part of this. And I think that is by far the singular reason why this was being said and the action is being taken. And I think when we start entering into politics, that's not our charge. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. We have time for one more public comment. Oh, Tracy.
Sorry, I'm not public, so, but I just wanted to address, so the main reason that we brought this forward was because we had veterans in our community that don't feel safe coming to our county services. And we need to know that our county commissioners, when we bring something to them, that's what we're supposed to do. We are supposed to advise our county commissioners that when we bring something to them, they're going to be able to listen with an open mind for all of our residents in Clackamas County, especially on this board for our veterans. And so, yes, this is something that we need to address. It's not a political thing like you are thinking. We just want some answers to know how going forward our veterans are going to be coming back to our services in Clackamas County that we've worked so hard to bring forward. So.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. And just as I said one more, I saw Casey, you raise your hand. So I think if you can offer a thought in about a minute or less, please feel free.
This is not political. This is my life. When people who are put in elected positions talk about who I am as being negative or irresponsible, that's my life. And for those of you that unfortunately live in a white power, white privilege world, male world, I'm sorry. You've not lost a house with a son because you are gay. You were not having to serve in the military for 26 years, closeted in fear of what was going to happen to you. You weren't giving articles of 15 because you were set up because of what people thought they believed. So no, this is not political. This is my life. I am a veteran. I am an LGBTQ veteran, and I want my elected officials to back me in the place that I live. I want to know that I am going to be taken care of in my county by those officials. And his words tell me he is not going to take care of certain veterans of certain either religions or cultures or are part of the LGBTQ community. And I'm sorry, my voice sounds angry, but I'm calling the people that are saying this is political, I'm calling bullshit. And I'm sorry for the words. This is not bullshit. This is our life. Us, people of color, people of different cultures, people of different religions, this is who we are. And when people talk negatively about it, that affects us to the core. So this is not political. This is our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. So, so that's concludes the opportunity for additional public comment. However, do recognize that there are lots of powerful thoughts and emotions in the room, and you will certainly have other opportunities to share with one another. So as Brenda said, that is the plan for a debrief following this meeting, and then you can all talk about where you go from here. So I want to thank all of you for being here, for your presence, for listening deeply, and working to be constructive. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, everybody.
Everyone.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you both, everybody.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good week.
Tracy,
Yes,
will you call me, please?
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you. Sorry, I ought to have said something like that.
Thank you, Casey.